Hi friends, welcome to Unit 2, Day 1. We're going to finish out with writing equations of circles and then also graphing circles. So if I want to write an equation in standard form and I'm given a center and a radius, what I can do is I can plug these values in. So I have x minus 0 squared plus y minus, in this case, plus 1 squared equals radius 4 squared. Simplify this out. In this case, because it's x minus 0 and that part is that is not going to change our value, we actually drop the x minus 0 part and just have x squared. Plus, we do need to keep the plus 1, and we normally write it as this. We don't actually expand it out, like FOIL or multiply it out. We leave it like this to show that it actually is a circle. And then we do square the 4, so we get 16. So there is your equation of that circle in standard form. For this one, it says sketch the graph of the circle represented by the equation. So this tells me my center is at positive 2, negative 3. It's always opposite because in the formula it's opposite. So 2, negative 3 is going to be here-ish. And then for here I have this 10. Remember, 10 is the radius squared. So the actual radius for this is not 10, but the square root of 10. So the radius here is equal to the square root of 10. Sometimes it's useful to get a decimal approximation for these graphs. So I'm just going to take square root of 10 in my calculator and see what that is equivalent to. So it's about 3.16. Now it says sketch. It's okay if it's not 100% perfect. In fact, there's no way for it to be 100% perfect unless you're using some sort of automated tool. So that's just a little bit past 3. 1, 2, 3, a little bit past 3. 1, 2, 3, a little bit past 3, then down here. 1, 2, 3, a little bit past 3. When you sketch the circle, I try to make it so that it goes around the outside. If you have a protractor, you could use that as well. But I'm essentially making these curves kind of curving away from the middle. You may have to kind of practice and draw these a few times so that you can get that shape. So this is the circle. Remember, the circle is not the center in the middle. The circle is the part on the outside. When we talk about a circle, we don't talk about the center is an important point within the circle, but the circle itself is this value here. This says write the equation of the circle in standard form, label the center and radius of the circle, then graph and label the domain and range. For this one, we need to kind of group everything together. So for this, I'm going to have, let's see, x squared plus 2x plus blank. We'll see what the blank is here shortly. And then y squared minus 4y plus blank equals positive 4. You see I've moved the negative 4 here off to the other side. I'm adding 2 blanks here on the left-hand side, so I'm going to add 2 blanks over here. Now those blanks, some of you might be thinking, oh, well, what am I going to do? Well, I need these to be in the form of a something squared, so I'm actually need to complete the square with these to be able to get these values. If I complete the square, if I take 2 divided by 2 and then squared, I get 1. So my value for this one here is going to be 1. Again, I'm completing the square. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4, so that's value here. Remember, if I add something on the left-hand side, I also need to add it on the right-hand side to balance it out. So this gives me x plus 1, quantity squared, plus y minus 2, quantity squared, is equal to, and then on this side I have 9. With this now I can find the radius. The radius is going to be the square root of 9. Then I can go ahead and graph this on my grid. So this is going to be at negative 1, comma 2. So center is at negative 1, comma 2. And then square root of 9, we can actually simplify that to be 3. So 1, 2, 3, I'll do this in green. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there's my circle. Again, if you don't have a protractor, just sketch it as best you can by making curved arcs away from the center. Then you have that. So I graphed it, labeled the domain and range. Domain is all my possible x values. So my x values go from negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, inclusive, to 0, 1, 2. And my range goes from negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 5, inclusive. So there's domain and range for that. Last part, write the equation of the circle in standard form, label the center and radius circle, then graph and label the domain and range. This is an example of the one we just did, just a little bit more complicated. So what I'm going to do is I see all of these values are divisible by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and divide by 2 on both sides first. That's going to give me a nice, easier circle to work with. So I have x squared plus y squared minus 8x minus 14y minus 94 divided by 2 is 40, my goodness. 47. Ooh, there we go. And then I'm going to set it up. So I have x squared minus 8x plus blank plus y squared minus 14y plus blank equals 47 plus blank plus blank. All right. Divide by 2, then squared. So this is going to give me 16. I'll use a different color so you can see it a little bit easier. 16. And then that's 49. 7 squared is 49. 49. So for here, this is going to be x minus 4 quantity squared plus y minus 7 quantity squared is equal to, I'm going to use a calculator. My arithmetic skills are not solid today. I apologize. It's going to be 112. So the radius, square root of 112. So my center, again, is the opposite of these. So 4, 7, with a radius of about 10 point r is equal to the square root of 112. That can simplify. It's approximately equal to 10.58. So when we graph this, it's kind of a good thing to note, like what's happening here with this. There's no way I can fit on this graph that this is 1 to 1, so I would have to expand this graph out. Going by 2 should be fine. I might have to go by 3s even, just to check. And the other side with this is talking about the domain and range. When we talk about the domain on a problem like this, if I have my center is at 4, notice that this radius isn't nice and clean like our other one was. I'm not going to be able to just count and look at it. So my domain, if I think about it, is going to be the center, x value. So in this case, it's going to be 4. And then I'm going to subtract, take away, minus the radius. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that, square root of 12. 112, excuse me. So if I simplify that, I know 4 goes into it nicely. Looks like 16 does. So this is going to be 4 radical 7. So my domain is going to be 4 minus 4 square root of 7 and 4 plus 4 square root of 7. I know it's this. Excuse me. I need to brace. I know it's this because my radius is that, so my domain has to be all the values less than. So again, going to the left, and then greater than going to the right. And then my range is going to be 7 minus 4 square root of 7 and 7 plus 4 square root of 7. This is exact. This is precise. We want to be precise, if possible. Always be precise. So my center at 4, 7. Again, we talked about this not working, so I'm going to actually expand this out and go by 2s instead. Should work if I go by 2s. Well, we may have to adjust. I'm using an erasable pen for that reason. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. So the center is here, and I'm going about 5 units away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that definitely is not going to work. I'm going to go above that. So knowing that, I need to go by 3s instead. 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. All right, so 4, 7. It's going to be somewhere around here. And then if I go square root of 10, that's going to be about 3, a little bit past 3 units. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. All right. Know that this doesn't look 100% perfect. Especially if you don't put it in the right spot. Erasable pen for the win. There we go. There we go. So there's my circle. There's the graph, domain, and range. Thank you for joining me in this video. Join me in the next one to go over the Unit 2, Day 2. Have a great day.